Hey, what's going on, Guardians? My name is the Black Link. And if you've been missing the reliability and fun of the Wave Frame Grenade Launcher class, well, do I have a weapon for you. The Dead Messenger Exotic Grenade Launcher is available in the game right now, and outside of the final quest to actually get the weapon, it doesn't take too long to get done. And so, in this video, I'm going to be walking you through how you can unlock the Dead Messenger Exotic Grenade Launcher. Now, chances are you've already finished the Witch Queen campaign. Good, that's basically the first step to getting this thing unlocked. About midway through the campaign, you basically get that bridging path where you can either continue the main story or start the story for the seasonal content. This will include picking up the Rising Tensions quest, which will have you unlocking the new Battlegrounds activities. Most of the steps involved in this quest are fairly self-explanatory and will go by pretty quickly. Once you've watched the cutscene in the tower, you'll be tasked with heading to the Helm, where you'll be debriefed on what's going on in Season of the Risen. This will unlock the new seasonal activity on the EDZ called PsyOps Battlegrounds, where you'll be able to use the Synaptic Spear that Ikora gave you over the course of the Witch Queen's campaign. This Battlegrounds activity will basically follow the same formula that the previous Battlegrounds activities did. You're basically tasked with going through and defeating increasing waves of enemies, though at the end of this one, you're going to be transported into the Mindscape, where you're basically going to be fighting an embodiment of Savathun, or at least a devotion to Savathun inside the Hive's mind. And overall, I really like this activity. I think it's a really refreshing take on the Battlefield formula as a whole. But once you've completed this run of the Battlegrounds, return to the Helm, where you'll then get access to Operation Elbrus. This will task you with collecting 500 psychogenic intel. This is something you'll be able to collect in Savathun's throne world by completing either patrols or activities like public events. If you go and run 2 heroic public events, that'll get you enough to complete this quest step. After that, you'll be tasked with running the PsyOps Battlegrounds again and then opening up the runic chest at the end. So head to the Helm map and select the PsyOps Battleground. This time it'll be a little tougher, but once you've cleared it, at the end you'll find a chest next to the normal reward chest. Use your 500 psychogenic intel and you'll be able to move on to the next step of this quest. From here, your next step will be to claim the Week 1 Seasonal Challenge Psychogenic Decoder to earn insight for the War Table, and then you'll need to purchase 1 upgrade at the War Table. The upgrade that you pick here doesn't really matter. You can either go Armor Decoding Clearance or Throne World Surveillance. Either upgrade will move on to the next step. Then, after you've accepted that upgrade, you'll just need to listen to a transmission from Lord Saladin and then Empress Keitel before it unlocks the final quest. After you've finished your debriefing with Empress Keitel, you'll get the quest step, Kill the Messenger. This will unlock the exotic quest, Vox Obscura on Mars, which of course will reward you with the Dead Messenger Exotic Grenade Launcher upon completion. Now, a couple things about this quest. One, it is at 1550 power. That's a pretty hefty jump for a lot of players who are probably in the mid 1520s to 1530s. Additionally, this quest is going to have you on a timer almost from start to finish. So you're going to need to move fast and clear a lot of enemies along the way. But for you veteran D1 Guardians out there, there's a bit of a treat here. You'll recognize this as basically being kind of a recreation of the original Mars mission from Destiny 1. Which I think is a neat little homage there for the veteran Guardians out there. Now, as for the quest itself, you can definitely solo it. I was able to get basically all the way to the end of it at about 1527 power. But I'm definitely going to recommend that unless you're closer to 1550, you get a buddy or two to run it with you. The enemies in this are going to hit very, very hard, and the timer plus the respawn settings for it are going to be very punishing for anybody who's running it solo who happens to die during a darkness zone. The first section of this mission is pretty easy. You're just going and clearing out a base, but the moment you get access to an interceptor, things are going to get real. You're going to have a few minutes to basically make your way through the map and shut down some anti-air guns. This beginning section can definitely be hectic, and it's by far the hardest part of the mission. If you want my opinion, follow the path that you're seeing here in the video. Once you've got that interceptor, clear out the first wave of Cabal, make your way over here to the left around the other enemy interceptor. Because again, if you're like in the 1520s or 1530s, there's a Scion and an interceptor who may one-shot you. And if you die here, you have to start the entire mission over again. Then, once you've made your way over to the Cabal tank, you do have to take this thing out. Pop the Cabal turrets first, and then use the Interceptor's boost to deal massive damage to the tank. More times than not, it'll just one-shot the tank for some reason, but there are times where you might have to ram into it a time or two. Once you've done that, take care of the champion who's no doubt rushing you down by then. Then, Amanda Holiday will show up and drop a tank for you. While this may seem like a great idea, this thing is actually pretty lightly plated and will get shredded again if you're under light. So make sure you're paying attention to the enemies and try to take out as many of them as you can before you move forward. Once you've gotten into this tank, move into the second area, and then you can use the tanks or the interceptors to start destroying the generators in front of these towers before then destroying the towers themselves by shooting at the areas that you're seeing right here. In this section, you'll find another 2 Cabal tanks. Again, I would just recommend hopping on an interceptor and ramming into them. That seems to be the most consistent way of killing them. But be very careful if you're a solo player. There's a lot of things in this area that can kill you really quickly, and if you die, you have to start the entire mission all over again. But anyways, once these 3 towers have been destroyed, thankfully, you'll no longer be in a darkness zone so that you can revive, but you need to take an interceptor or a tank down the path that I'm showing here and blow up the door. Then, that'll move us into the second part of this mission. Once you've made your way inside, a 10-minute timer is going to start. You need to take down 3 specific Scion commanders who will give you access codes to unlock the final door to the boss. Then, you also need to defeat that boss within that 10-minute time frame as well. This section is a bit of a rush, but it's not that difficult to get through. Once you've made your way into the lower areas, there will be 3 Scion commanders that you need to take out. Each of these commanders is going to be in a different room, and they're going to be protected by another Scion commander in a bubble. This will be very reminiscent for you Guardians out there who played through the Leviathan raid of old. You need to clear out the room first, then go take out the Scion commander in the bubble, and then you should be able to defeat the Scion who's got the code for you. After that, just scan a little hack thing, and then you can move on to the next room. Once you've done this with all 3, you'll get access to the final boss room. This final boss fight is very simple, but you do still need to be very careful with it. That timer doesn't stop, so you need to clear all these areas and get to that boss really quickly, or else you may run out of time as you're fighting him. The boss is the standard Ultra Scion, who's going to cycle through a bunch of different psionic attacks. He'll use the big Arc Storm Wave, the Void Imprisonment Bubble, which you need to break out as soon as possible. It takes 2 shots to any of these lit up areas on the bubble itself. If you don't, you're going to die. Plain and simple. And of course, the Solar Barrage attack, but as long as you stay away from him, it's pretty easy to take this guy down. Every time you take down about 1/3 of his health, he is going to get an overshield though, and you'll have to repeat the same mechanics that we've done thus far to get here. There'll be psionic commanders all across the battlefield, about 3 of them. You need to go into their bubble, pop them. Once you've done all 3, the boss will lose his shield and you can deal damage to him again. Do this a few times and you should be able to defeat this boss before that timer hits 0. And if you do, congratulations, you are actually the ultimate champ, especially if you manage to do this mission solo. Head to the final area, listen to a final briefing, and open that final chest to receive the Dead Messenger Exotic Waveframe Grenade Launcher. Congrats, Guardian, you definitely earned this one. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the Dead Messenger itself. This gun is definitely neat. It comes with the intrinsic trait Trinary Vision, one-shot handheld grenade launcher. Projectiles release a fan of 3 energy waves on contact with the ground. So very similar to the way waveframe grenade launchers worked back in the past, except you get like this big triangle of damage with the Dead Messenger. Additionally, this also comes with quick launch, high velocity rounds, and the fundamentals, just like Hardlight. With a long reload press, you can change this weapon's damage type, cycling between Solar, Arc, and Void. And then finally, of course, it's got a short action stock. So essentially, you have all 3 elements in one with this grenade launcher, which means it'll definitely come in clutch in in-game content like Grandmaster, Nightfalls, or anywhere where you're going to need a variety of elements to break those match game shields. And overall, this gun is really fun to play with. It's definitely a powerful grenade launcher. It's got a great initial blast radius with the added benefit, of course, of that big triangular field of damage with the 3 waves of damage that are going to be coming out of this. Being able to swap those elements on the fly, like I said before, is going to be absolutely clutch in some higher end content. And because it's a special weapon, you should really have ammunition for this almost all the time, at least in PvE. Special ammo grenade launchers have been a big staple of the PvE endgame for quite some time now. And having one with the add clear capability plus the elemental changing ability of this one is definitely worth the effort it takes to get here. But alright Guardians, that is your rundown for how you can get your hands on the Dead Messenger Exotic Grenade Launcher. That final Vox Obscura mission is definitely the hardest one in Witch Queen thus far, but I'm enjoying the challenge. But that's it for this one. What are your thoughts on the Dead Messenger? What are your thoughts on the quest to get it? Do you have any tips for clearing it? Be sure to leave it for your fellow Guardians down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest stuff we're putting out. I'm out for now. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.